Pioneers will be out there in the all-white home uniforms today. Crimson lettering trimmed in gold front and back. Denver and the player names front and back respectively in the same style. It's an all-purple look for St. Thomas with white lettering trimmed in gray on the front and backs of the jerseys and shorts. And the Pioneers win the opening tip and will take the basketball from right to left on the radio side. If you're watching on the Summit League Network, thanks for hanging out with us on this Saturday afternoon as DU and St. Thomas are underway, and the Pioneers with a good opening sequence as Tommy Bruner beats Jaxon Brenchley, and Denver's got the first bucket of the game and a 2-0 lead.
Great start for the Pioneers, efficient and execution.
This St. Thomas team, I mean, any of these guys can pull the trigger early in any game, and that really just sets the tone for an offense that can beat you in all kinds of different ways. And right there, I mean, it would look like a broken possession. St. Thomas rescues it, and Raheem Anthony knifes his way in and scores on the layup to tie it at 2.
Well, no wonder he shoots 50% from the field. That's a guy that you've got to know where he is on the field, on the court, that is, just as much as you got to know where number 5, Parker Bjorklund, is.
Isaiah Adelanco with a 3 in and out, no good, and a wide open transition 3 opportunity for Kendall Blue that won't go, and an offensive board, no, roped in by Pedro Lopez San Vicente, who just kind of ripped that out of the hands of Brooks Allen off of the offensive glass, and Pedro's board will give Denver a chance to retake the lead. Adelanco finds Tynamo down low. Toko is shut off at the left block by Brooks Allen, and then just kind of handed that ball away to Raheem Anthony as he lost the handle on it. A wide open 3 chance for St. Thomas is good as Drake Dobbs cashes in, and it is a 5-2 lead for the Tommies.
Dobbs, one of those 6 guys. He's now got 31 triples on the season. And you see the pace that they've already started to create, the Tommies.
Jaxon Brenchley down the right side of the rack, layup good and the foul, and Brenchley will head to the free throw line to try to tie this game. Brenchley was headed out right wing, and St. Thomas did a nice job hedging on a couple of passing lanes, and Jaxon, sensing space, cut between a couple of Tommies, Kendall Blue and Raheem Anthony, trying to cut him off. In the 5th-year transfer from Utah, the grad student will go to the free throw line to try to tie this thing up and give his team his 5th point of the day.
Brenchley did a good job of protecting the basketball, and in motion, no travel, got to the hoop, gets the and one, the traditional 3.
Man, what a crowd we've got in the house here at Hamilton Gymnasium.
On
we
a
got a whole bunch
snowy
of
day,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. It's a perfect day to be hanging out indoors watching a basketball game. As another open 3 look for Drake Dobbs. He'll pass it up and instead hand it off to Parker Bjorklund. Had it swatted out of his hands by Tommy Bruner, but Tommy fumbles it. Kendall Blue able to recover for St. Thomas. Now another strip, and Denver does take this one away. Tommy will clear things out, sends it left side to Pedro Lopez San Vicente, going to work against Brooks Allen. Cross-court feed to Brenchley. Jaxon goes baseline, down low, off the glass, and good. Brenchley's got the first 7 of this game for DU, and it's a 7-5 Pioneers lead.
You know, Brenchley has wanted to do more for this squad in several ways, on leadership and also contributing, and he sure has here early.
Man, and a nice look down low for Raheem Anthony, who waited for Brenchley to fly by and then was too strong off the window, and Denver will take it off the defensive glass. 7-5 the lead. Lopez San Vicente head fakes a man into the air, then got tied up, lost the ball, but Toko Tynamo recovers in the opposite corner. Brenchley out on the right wing. To the corner for Lopez San Vicente for 3, that's good. Pedro cashes in, it's a 10-5 Pioneers lead, and a good start for DU, 4 of 5 from the floor to get it rolling.
You know, the 6'8 junior doesn't take that many threes, but boy, when he does, he puts it on point. That's his 19th. Nice
back cut there by Brooks Allen. That is St. Thomas's offense in a nutshell. They just find ways to burn you.
The other thing that was good about Denver is when Tynamo lost the ball, they had good patience offensively, and that allowed Pedro San Vicente to get that shot off.
Nice lob down low by Jaxon Brenchley, who found Tynamo. Toko had his first shot blocked, got it back, but his chance on the follow won't fall. And here come the Tommies, trailing at 10-7. Up top, Brooks Allen goes down the left side of the lane against Lopez San Vicente. Bucket good and the foul.
Brooks Allen making his presence felt. Think of the length. There's not like a lot of bigs out there per se, but there's, you've got a 3'6", a 6'7", and a 6'2" out there, and that's their length. They really cover a lot of ground, and it's really their quickness. They know where each other is on the floor at all times, and that's why Denver's communication is going to be so key today.
Free throw attempt is good for the 6'7", 210 grad student out of Shakopee, Minnesota. Brooks Allen, not a great free throw shooter, 56.5% for the season, but he knocks down his first one here, and the Pioneers see St. Thomas immediately rally to tie this thing. This is going to be a back and forth affair all day as DeAndre Craig checks into the game for DU. Pioneers going with a smaller lineup as Pedro Lopez San Vicente checks out. Dre will run the point. Up top to Jaxon Brenchley. Brenchley dribbles right wing, looked at the top of the key, didn't have anybody there. Now here's Craig. Dre into the lane, kicks into the corner. Adelanca thought about the three and said he'll go baseline, finds Dre. Open, 2 on the shot clock, drive to the rack, left-handed layup is good. Dre's got to get back to his feet and scramble back into the play as he flew out over the baseline. Strong take by the freshman from Chicago, and it's a 12-10 Denver lead.
His first step is incredible, and he split the defenders and was able to get to the rack and finish.
The thing that was crazy about that too, Mary Kay, he started that drive with 3 seconds on the shot clock and still laid it up and scored it. And now a transition bucket for Drake Dobbs out of a set look as he lays it off the window and scores.
Yeah, that's too many points in the paint already. Even though Denver's got 8, that's the 7th and 8th for the Tommies, but that one looked too easy. And once again, it was Dobbs getting through.
Here's Brenchley trying to get his way by Allen. Goes right side of the lane, finds Tynamo. Toko's hook shot is up and good. Tynamo's onto the score sheet. Denver's got 4 scorers among its first 12 points. It's a good sign for the Pioneers.
You know what's fun about Tynamo is he's pretty much automatic. When you get him in and around inside about 6 feet to the basket, he does the left hand, he does right hand, and his release is so soft and on point.
Ben now for 3. That's short, and a rebound for Jaxon Brenchley. A high-flying first. Now 5 minutes and 15 seconds in this one as Brenchley will hand it off on the left side to Adelanca. Up top, Tynamo head fakes a 3, finds Craig who didn't take it. Now Dre will, or Zay rather, Isaiah Adelanca in and out, no good. Adelanca has been quiet offensively the last couple of games, really struggled from 3 last game as the ball nearly stripped. St. Thomas able to keep the handle on it. Kendall Blue.
Bruner did a nice job of, as he swung by, sticking his hand in to reach in and kind of disrupt. That's the kind of defense they need, is disruption.
And a foul called down low, and everybody on that side of the arena.
They get that bitter cold a little bit more than we do.
A little bit more than we do. So we're back to
we don't have anything to complain about.
Out of the media timeout. 14-12. Denver leads at Pioneers men's basketball on ESPN Denver 1600. And a turnover, no. Jaxon Brenchley got his hand in a passing lane. Carter Bjerke with a 3 ball that's no good. Offensive rebound turned into a block. Another chance, a third chance, no good. Toko Tynamo finally pulls in the rebound, and Denver takes it the other way. Mary Kay, I will say, there seems to be a lot more urgency to Denver's play in the first 6 minutes.
And part of that has been on the boards. Now, that time, they allowed too many second chance and third chance opportunities, and fortunately they came out with an empty possession for the Tommies. But they're doing a better job, and you see Brenchley with a great drive.
They will wave off that bucket. The whistle came before Jaxon let that go. Otherwise, he'd be headed to the free throw line.
The other thing is, I almost think it started with Pedro San Vicente setting the tone when he ripped that defensive board down, and you could tell he wanted the basketball. You know, you got to find ways to win, and you do that in February so you can play in March, and that was a good way to set things up for the Pioneers.
Some reserves into the game for DU. Isaiah Carr is checked in, so is Tyson Garf. DeAndre Craig for 3, and that's good. Freshman from Chicago doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but he knocks that one down, and DU has a 17-12 lead.
So fun to see Craig when he lights it up offensively, but he is so strong defensively. His quickness, he now showed his inside-outside game.
Left side with it on the drive. Here's Ryan Dufall. Shut off by Tyson Garf, goes into the lane, now pitches it to Carter Bjerke, who flows by Isaiah Carr, goes baseline and lays it in.
And he had no help on the defense, so as soon as Bjerke got past him, that was going to be an easy 2. Well, Carter Bjerke is their biggest player on the team, 6'9", 250 as a redshirt freshman. you're either from Minnesota or you're from Illinois on this team.
They do such a good job of recruiting that region, and we talked about, for so long, the only is Tyson Garf's got a 3-ball chance and can't splash it in, and a rebound for Ryan Dufault. They do such a good job of recruiting that area. University of Minnesota was the only Division I show in the state for a very, very long time. None of the satellite campuses for the U of M are Division I. The St. Thomas moving to D1 has really opened the door for a lot more of those Twin Cities basketball players, especially for this program, to be able to get their looks at the D1 level. As a missed 3 chance there for Bjerke, and Denver goes the other way. 17-14 is the lead. DeAndre Craig finds Tommy Bruner. Tommy bounces off of some contact. First shot of the game for Bruner is up and good, and it's back to a 5-point lead.
That's what you get from the nation's leading scorer. Is he is so good at the mid-range. He pulled back, had a nice fadeaway at the left elbow, and nothing but net.
Down the left side of the lane, a great take there from Ryan Dufault, who scores as he's able to get penetration. And Denver with a 19-16 advantage with 11:35 to go here in the first half. Media timeout coming up at our next whistle as DeAndre Craig penetrates, deals it to Brenchley. Jackson's fouled as he heads toward the cup, and that will send us to our second media timeout. 11:28 to go in the first half, and our score, Denver 19 and St. Thomas 16. This is Pioneer Basketball, 104.3 The Fan, HD3, and a program that the talent is there, the coaching and culture very obviously there. This was not a traditional, it's a program moving up to D1. They're going to struggle for a while. You knew as soon as St. Thomas started to get D1 athletes in, this program was going to be a problem. They were going to be at the top or near the top of the Summit League immediately, and that's where they are already.
And you look at who they brought in, those are the pieces that Coach Wilburn said, already, he said they were ready to go. He said it wasn't like they needed to work their way into the system. The culture that's been established, they just had to fit a slot. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 grad students on the team. In Bjorklund 5, Allen, also Anthony, and then you've got seniors in Dobbs as well as and I think and Raheem Anthony. So that's where you see that they've got that continuity and already experience walking right in the door.
Pioneers with a 5-point lead. That should have been a travel call that was missed. Parker Bjorklund stumbled in the lane, dragged that pivot foot, and it's going to turn into a foul call against Denver instead. And that one, the third Pioneers team foul, will put Drake Dobbs at the free throw line, the senior transfer from Liberty.
See, running the baseline once again is Dobbs. He's been effective getting to the rack and finding a way to get in. There needs to be a little bit more switching for Denver and talk defensively, because the Tommies are getting too many opportunities of easy buckets down the lane.
1 of 2 from the free throw line for Drake Dobbs, and the Pioneers lead sits at 4 at 21-17 as Tommy Bruner brings it across half court and feeds Tyson Garf on the right side. Josh Lee onto the floor for the first time today. Josh got some good opportunity against Kansas City and especially Oral Roberts. He did not play against South Dakota, but he's out there right now as Bruner's got it up top. Tommy now deals to Tyson Garf for 3. Got it!
Garf with the smooth stroke. He's got the best on the team, and he nails that from downtown. What a great job, though, on the look. The patience offensively was excellent for Denver. And as soon as Bruner got a double team, all of a sudden, who's open and nobody on him to contest was Garf, and he puts it through and buries it for 3.
Second assist of the day for Tommy Bruner as a 3-ball in response is short from Parker Bjorklund, and here comes Denver off of the board. Tommy steps back as he'll get out of some pressure here, deals it to Josh Lee, and now collects it back on the right side. Bruner back to Lee up top. Josh will drive it right side of the lane and then turns it over immediately.
He's
looking for Isaiah Carr.
Yeah, he's trying to hit Carr going down the lane, but just a bounce pass too far in front.
And a blocking foul against Carr in transition as Raheem Anthony sensing some space, bursting into the lane. Carr tried to slide over in front of him and just couldn't get that second foot down.
Yeah, he almost did, and he was outside the block charge circle, so he would have been able to get the charge, but just couldn't quite get over there.
Pioneer hockey in attendance here today. Just looking at Jared Wright walking by. It is a Pioneer hockey tradition. The freshmen and newcomers do a choreographed dance routine. If you're watching on the Summit League Network, you got to look at the Pioneer hockey contingent. And man, I'm kind of hoping they'll stick around for all 40 minutes today because they're bringing such great energy out opposite the St. Thomas bench. First free throw, no good from Raheem Anthony.
Well, the Pioneers on a 5-1 run. And again, in the half-court set, that patience has been helpful on the offensive side. Defensively, they lead the war on the board 7-5. Both teams have 12 points in the paint. So Denver doing a really good job of staying intentional and making sure that they're in position on the defense.
Another turnover and another unforced error there by DU, but a great job by Isaiah Adelanka getting back defensively to be able to slow down this St. Thomas attack. It looked as though Kendall Blue was going to have a chance to just go uncontested, and Denver here is able to take it away. What a job by Tyson Garp. Great job forcing the turnover, a ball over the baseline that a Tommy tried to throw off of Garp, and Tommy, smooth as butter, knocks it down from the free throw line. It's an 8-point game.
And Coach Tower's not happy with how his team is getting back on D.
Actually not sure what that whistle was for. Initially thought that was a timeout taken, but there will be an inbound in front of the St. Thomas bench. And with 9:25 to go, it'll be Raheem Anthony to bring it up the floor, the grad student from Chicago. Anthony right side of Brooks Allen. Up top, here is Dobbs down the left side of the lane. He's pinned off there. Swings it back to Parker Bjorklund. Bjorklund into the lane. Great take by Bjorklund. His shot didn't go, and Denver's able to pull it down. Parker Bjorklund is so talented, but just not enough on that shot to get it to fall.
Well, and Bjorklund leads his team with a 14-point average, as well as he comes in with some great numbers. Also had 19 points in that victory over Oral Roberts on Thursday, with 4 assists to go along with 7 boards. And he's somebody, he's so left-handed dominant that they're working hard to force him right. And right now, Bjorklund is quiet. He's got no points. He's not made the scoring column yet. So Denver doing a good job on him.
Foul call on St. Thomas. Raheem Anthony charged with it, his second. So Denver's got it. 10 on the shot clock right now. DeAndre Craig for 3. That's a little strong, and the rebound belongs to Brooks Allen.
Biggest lead for the Pioneers at 8.
Dobbs looking in the corner, finds Ben Now out on the wing. Now up top. Gets it to Brooks Allen, going to work against Lopez San Vicente. Here is Dobbs, and a hand check foul there against Josh Lee, and that'll be the 5th on Denver. Mary Kay Parker Bjorklund is such a great story. He was a student at St. Thomas his freshman and sophomore year, but did not play sports, and then became a part of this basketball team. And not just a part, but he is such a crucial element of this team, Parker Bjorklund, now in his grad student season. That is such a cool story. A guy who a couple years not part of the athletic department, and then just decided, I guess I could play Division I basketball, which is amazing to see. As a great offensive rebound there by a Johnny Lee, who skies in for the board off of the missed 3 by Drake Dobbs. Now a crossover, and it's taken away briefly by Tyson Garp. But Brooks Allen gets to it, can't splash in the 3, and Denver finally has the board.
The athleticism by Johnny Lee, that was incredible. He just came flying in. I think he came from the free throw line, didn't see him, and he one-handed pulled that rebound down to keep it alive for the Tommies. They end up with an empty possession. Denver has a chance now to increase that lead.
Jaxon Brenchley right side, trying to get by Ben Now. A high floater off the glass is no good. The second chance opportunity didn't go, and here comes Raheem Anthony flying down the floor. Tyson Garp trying to shut him off, commits the foul. And Anthony will head to the free throw line when we return. 7:38 to go in the first half. A relentless first half between these two teams, and the Pioneers have the lead right now. Our score, Denver 26, St. Thomas.
Picked up where Coach Steve Fritz left off, and you have to think, he takes it personal because he was a student athlete himself, and they just, all their athletics, you start looking at their volleyball, their soccer, they've got some good support all the way around.
at the free throw line. The first one is no good from Raheem Anthony, so St. Thomas has missed half of its first 6 free throws.
Well, and speaking of free throws, that's one of the things that hurt Denver in that overtime loss at South Dakota. They had missed 7 free throws, besides missing a defensive rebound at the end. You know, a couple of those things that Coach Wilburn talks about, those are the little things. He said it really makes a difference when you're coming down the stretch.
That was one of the things I said as we went to overtime. I said, you make one more of those free throws, you're not in this spot right now. Denver just did not do enough of those little things, especially late, to get that win. And so now, instead of seeing yourselves at 500 in conference play after starting 4-2, Denver's 4-6 in the league. And, you know, you don't like to talk about things like must-win games, but this is a game that would be massive for Denver to have, not just to stop the losing streak, but to get yourselves on the right track down this stretch. 2 on the shot clock. Dre for 3, left that one short, and the rebound belongs to Toko Tynamo in the near side corner. Toko into the lane, and a hook shot. He's fouled. He will go to the line. An awkward shot from Tynamo, but it didn't matter because he drew the contact, and that'll put Denver's junior at the stripe.
Well, Tynamo telegraphs this one as he has the long stride across the lane. He had a Johnny Lee all over him, and Lee commits the personal.
And Johnny Lee, the sophomore from Byron, Minnesota.
Wonder what his reach is, because his hops are incredible.
Yeah, Lee is listed at 6'9", 215. Man, he is a lot of fun to watch.
Just a sophomore.
That offensive rebound a little while ago, I mean, that was incredible. You said, I think he took off from the free throw line, and I don't think you were exaggerating because that's about what it felt like, and he skied in to grab the board as Toko goes 0 of 2 at the stripe. And Denver now 3 for its first 6 from the free throw line as well. Pioneers early on this season felt like just could not miss at the line, and Denver has really struggled in that regard as of late, and a drawn-up play frees up Kendall Blue for an easy layup. He's got his first points of the game, a guy who averages 10.6, and it's down to a 5-point Pioneers lead at 26-21. DU scoreless for coming up on 3 minutes now. Isaiah Adelanker trying to snap that skid, and he does as he knocks down his first triple of the game, and DU's got an 8-point advantage at 29-21.
In shoot around, when they were moving the ball around, Adelanker was canning a lot of threes. Nice to see him get open and finish.
Kendall Blue swatted out of bounds by Toko Dynamo. An emphatic block for Denver's junior from Helsinki, and it will stay with St. Thomas with 17 on the shot clock. Toko has been really personally challenged by this coaching staff to start locking in on the defensive end again, and Denver as a team today has looked a lot more engaged defensively. 3-ball on the way from Ben now is short, and then up off the top of the backboard, and that will be Denver basketball.
You know what's interesting about Ben now, the 6'2 junior from Brookfield, Wisconsin? Let me sit corrected. Now there's a third state that's represented on their roster. But Ben now, of all the players who shoot threes, which the whole starting lineup is 30 plus, he leads the team with 36. And so Ben now comes off the bench. He only averages 18 minutes a game. But again, so impactful when they look for instant offense.
Turnover here as the Pioneers unable to keep the handle on it. Man, Tommy Brunner called for his second foul of the game, so TB might sit for a little while with 5:54 to go here in this first half. That is the 4th turnover for Denver. And again, I mean, that relentlessness of St. Thomas is that's Denver's 7th team foul, and it will put Drake Dobbs at the free throw line. St. Thomas just does such a great job. Not only do they force a lot of turnovers, 12.2 per game, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They've only turned it over twice today, and they only average 9.2 per game, which is 8th best in college basketball.
Yeah, it's incredible. And this is back-to-back years that they've been one of the top teams in the country with valuing the basketball. And only 9 turnovers is incredible. And I think the other night for Denver, Denver's had a good run with maintaining the basketball and holding on to it. And I think they only had 10. Actually, Denver had 7 turnovers. That's all they had in that overtime loss with 13 assists. So you know, when you're looking for some positives, that's one of them for the Pioneers.
Pioneers early on this season were in the top 10 in college basketball and fewest turnovers per game. They had a nightmarish stretch against Kansas City and Oral Roberts, but they have really reined that back in over the last couple of games. St. Thomas has it back down to 6, 29-23 off of the made free throws by Drake Dobbs. Another chance in the corner for Zay, and that is good again. Isaiah Adelangra missed his first 2. He's cashed in his most recent 2, and Denver's lead sits at 9, a game high.
Shooters need to shoot, and Adelangra, that was great. He got a little bit of confidence on the last one, and he got rewarded with a second opportunity and finished.
Dobbs got around a screen set formed by Brooks Allen, dealt out of it. Here's Allen up top. Swings it right side to Bjorklund. Parker spinning into the lane. Thought about going behind his back to Kendall Blue. Now Blue's got it on the right wing. He finds Bjorklund for 3. That's off the mark, and the rebound belongs to Adelangra off the tip by Jaxon Brenchley.
Defensively, Denver's doing a better job of attacking the basketball on the catch. And that's what's been the difference of not being able, St. Thomas, to get to either a 3 off or get to the rack.
DeAndre Craig head faked a man into the air, but his runner is short, and here come the Tommies the other way. 4:40 to go here in the first half. Open 3 look is good from Ben Now. Transition 3 ball, that is something that St. Thomas does very, very well, and it's back down to a 6-point game, 32-26.
And you see Coach Tower, he's able to go about 7, 8 deep with his team. One of them is Ben Now, and he's got now 37 trays.
Tommy Bruner in the left corner for Denver pulls a shock 3 and left that well off the mark. Tommy wanted a foul call and won't get it. And here comes St. Thomas. Drake Dobbs down low, pulls his way back, then just got bowled over by Isaiah Carr, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Carr couldn't slow down enough, and Dobbs was trying to maintain his plant foot, but he just could not stop.
Kind of surprised that Dobbs didn't put it up. He got the first Pioneer to fly by, and then he had a wide open shooting lane, and with Carr crashing in on him,
True,
took the foul. And it'll put him at the free throw line as Pioneer freshman hockey players wander behind us. Good luck, fellas. Steve Booyam and Boston Buckberger among the dancers for the Pioneers coming up at halftime.
I love it. I watched him practicing in the hallway, and I kind of had to dodge him. Like I kind of felt like I was in some sort of ping pong or something.
Yeah, I'm sure
you know. What's the game with when you flip the players and you got foosball?
Oh yeah,
I felt like I was in a foosball game, trying to get through them practicing out there.
1 of 2 at the free throw line for St. Thomas. It's a 5-point game, 32-27. Denver leads it. Yeah, the tradition, unlike any other for Pioneer freshman hockey players, they'll dance at halftime with members of the Denver dance team. And yeah, Mary Kay and I were each nearly taken out by Pioneer hockey players practicing that routine as we were coming out of the bathrooms earlier as a foul call. Here it goes against St. Thomas, and Jaxon Brenchley will head to the free throw line when we return. 3:45 to go in the first half, and our score is Denver 32, St. Thomas 27. This is ball on 104.3 The Fan, HD3, and ESPN Denver 1600.
Pace going. Doesn't matter if they're on O, they're on D. They keep the pace going. So Denver, even though they've got the lead by 5, they probably don't feel like it's. They probably feel like it's a lot closer. Very low-scoring game. And when you look at turnovers and assists, 7 assists, 4 turnovers for Denver. 4 assists, 2 turnovers for the Tommies. It's been a pretty clean game.
One thing that I mentioned to you before this game today, Mary Kay, is Jaxon Brenchley is at the free throw line as we return. I said, we just saw a lacrosse game in which the Pioneers played a Service Academy team playing the Air Force Academy. DU comes away with an 11-9 win. But in that game, you know that an Air Force team is never going to quit. St. Thomas is largely the same way. What we've seen from them their first couple years, they are just so energetic on both ends of the floor constantly, and trailing by 7, they come out of the free throws and flying up the floor, trying to claw back in a little bit tighter before halftime. Ben Now goes left side with it to Brooks Allen. Finds Raheem Anthony, who's got a couple of fouls here in the first half. Going to work against Tommy Bruner. He got Toko Tynamo into the air. First shot was no good, but Ajani Lee, there he is again, who throws it down for the dunk.
He got inside position on Garf and made short order of that rebound for 2.
34-29, a foul call here that will go against Lee, and Johnny Lee frustrated by it, and you understand both sides of that, the foul call, but Johnny Lee is going to fly down for a thunderous dunk, and frustrated by the fact that he was whistled for the infraction there.
Now, we got this on the Summit League Network, the replay from behind, but if you catch that from the front, I mean, he's got athleticism that is just pouring out of him, and to watch him with his length, his speed, and just how he gets to the rim and actually covers so much ground in a short amount of time. He's been so effective off the bench already for the Tommies.
Toko knocks down his first one. There's some mutual contact there. I think if you're a Tommies fan, you think, well, you know, Tynamo pushed off at the start of that. You understand the frustration, certainly for Johnny Lee, as Tynamo with 3 points here in the early going. That's his first made free throw. Toko, last time out, 7th double-double of the season. He's already got 6 rebounds in this game to go along with now 4 points. He's the leading rebounder on each side. And it is back to a 7-point to you advantage. 3 minutes to go here before halftime. Raheem Anthony, right side to Brooks Allen. Up top, there's Lee. Swings it to Ben now, and now back up top to Brooks Allen once more. Will drive down the left side of the lane against Isaiah Adawankra. Kicks it up top to Anthony. Anthony with 7 on the shot clock, going to work against Jaxon Brenchley. Down low, kicks it out for a 3-look. No, Dufault will drive it instead, and a shot clock violation. And that is the type of thing that gets you going defensively if you're a team like Denver that has really struggled on that end of the floor.
And you see Coach Wolbrun throwing the hands up. Come on, that's it, that's it. And the assistant coach, Rob Ziwi, same thing, clapping his hands. That was the execution they practiced and shoot around, and they really stayed focused. They moved, they switched, and they forced a shot clock violation.
Here we are behind Jaxon Brenchley as he inbounds. As you were tuned in on the Summit League Network as Jaxon sends it in, and DeAndre Craig will bring it up the floor for Denver. Craig, the freshman, in the waning weeks of his first season in college basketball. Isaiah Adawankra no good on the 3, but Tommy Bruner able to steal off of the rebound, and the layup is good for Toko Tynamo. This is the urgency Jeff Wolbrun has been pleading for from this team.
And how about the vision by Craig? As soon as he pulled back, it was Bruner who got the rebound. Moved the ball to Craig. Craig waited for help and found Tynamo easy bucket.
2 for 12 now from 3-point range for St. Thomas. Denver trying to make it hurt. A 9-point lead in the early going with 1:54 remaining in the first half. Tommy to the rack, dump off feed. Toko's layup is good. 4th assist for Bruner.
Well, you know every scouting report has Tommy Bruner #1. He drew 2 defenders and left Tynamo all alone for another easy bucket.
40-29 is the score. 1:35 to go here in the first half. Drake Dobbs on the right side. He'll dribble up top of the left hand, works it into a 3-look, and man, what a take from Drake Dobbs. Just found himself alone and a lightning quick release, but he couldn't cash it in. And St. Thomas now 2 of 13 from downtown.
Really unbelievable, because on the season for them, the Tommies, they average 9 made threes per game.
Denver's own Tommy Bruner is unable to come up on the 3 there, and here goes St. Thomas, and man, a wide open Brooks Allen was in the corner. They didn't see him, and Denver turns it into 2 the other way. It's a game-high 13-point lead for DU.
Great transition bucket, good look, and boy, the intensity is at a new level for Denver.
And the 3 is good there from Brooks Allen, and a timeout taken by the Pioneers. Man, Drake Dobbs got blown up there by Isaiah Adawankra as he was trying to set a screen, and Dobbs was looking for an explanation from the officials as to why that was not a foul. There was a lot of contact, and you saw that on the Summit League Network. He walked over toward the timeout huddle and was just asking, you know, how is that not a whistle? But the 3 ball takes it down to a 10-point game, and the timeout taken by Jeff Wolbrun with 42.8 to go, so a 12.8 second difference in the clocks.
Well, 8 players have hit the floor for, actually 9 players have hit the floor for St. Thomas. 8 have scored. The only one who hasn't is their leading scorer, and that's Parker Bjorklund. Denver has forced other players to actually contribute and help the Tommies, and it's not been Parker Bjorklund. Now that's in the first 20 minutes. You know, we got 42.8 seconds left to go in this first half. So it's now the test will be, how can you keep that up in the second half?
42.8 to go as Tommy Bruner will bring it across the timeline. TV left side to Toko Tynamo. Toko into the lane. Toko off the glass. No good. That is not the look Denver wanted. And now St. Thomas with the shot clock still winding. St. Thomas with a chance as we hit 25 to go here before halftime. Toko was looking for a whistle potentially there after he drove through that near strip.
This is where St. Thomas is dangerous. They spread you and then they fill gaps in a hurry.
Here's Kendall Blue. Blue just 2 points so far, but he'll go to work against Dynamo left side. High off the window, no good. And Jaxon Brenchley with the board. 3 seconds to go across half court. Finds DeAndre Craig for three, and that's good! DeAndre Craig cashing in 2 triples in the first half, and Denver's lead is a game-best 13 at the break.
How about that for execution? And DeAndre Craig, a quick release. That's one of the quickest ones we've seen.
Down the final seconds to the start of the second half, the Denver Pioneers 45, the St. Thomas Tommies 32, but this game far from done. The Pioneers 20 great minutes, and that's all it is as we discuss Tyler Vaughn, Mary Kay Morrow, headed into the second half against a team that can blitz you in a heartbeat. Pioneers did a nice job slowing down the St. Thomas offense in the first half, limited St. Thomas to 39.3% from the floor. 3 of 14 for three-point range. That felt crucial. That's something you got to be able to continue if you're DU.
And you do, and you've got to find a way to continue to do what was working, which is making sure that you're making the pass, you're being patient, and then on defense, you're switching, you're communicating. And be sure that you know that Coach Tower, he's too experienced not to make some adjustments at the break. So Denver's got to be ready.
Parker Bjorklund, St. Thomas with the opening possession of the second half. He goes to work against Toko Tynamo, and a miss as Toko kept his hand up, altered the path of that shot a little bit, and the rebound belongs to the Pioneers. DU 45-32 with the lead, shot at 53.3% before halftime.
That's a great defensive stop, especially on the leading scorer of their team, who's not been in the column yet.
Nice dump off feed down low from Jaxon Brenchley, and a patient Toko Tynamo waits to score it for 2. Toko's got 10 now.
Well, Brenchley started the first half with a bucket. This time he starts it with an assist.
Outside on the left wing, Kendall Blue dribbles it up top and sends it through Brooks Allen to the right side to Parker Bjorklund. And as we have noted, Mary Kay's pointed out, Parker Bjorklund, a leading scorer for this team who has not netted a point as of yet. Some contact there. Drake Dobbs slipped and went down. They'll whistle the foul on Isaiah Adelankra. 47-32, Denver's lead sits at 15.
Denver 6 of 14 from behind the arc, and Adelankra has 2 of them.
Brooks Allen right side to Parker Bjorklund. Bjorklund spinning, got past Brenchley, and then the rebound tied up on his fist, and that is Denver basketball. Parker Bjorklund just has been out of sorts.
They are really trying hard to get Bjorklund involved. That's twice now. First of all, he got into the paint twice, but both times he's come up empty-handed. He's frustrated.
He is just such a good player, and so much of the focus is on how do you slow down a guy who does so many things so well. And today, Denver's done a good job just keeping him out of a rhythm. Pioneers with a 47-32 lead. Jaxon Brenchley's got it on the right side for DU. Entry pass to Toko Tynamo on the right block. Going to work against Raheem Anthony. Swings it back out. Up top, here's Brenchley. Takes a lane, drives, kick out. 3 on the way from Adelankra is short, and the rebound will belong to Parker Bjorklund.
Well, Pedro San Vicente was trying to get up there, could not quite get the offensive rebound.
Oh, how about the strip by Jaxon Brenchley, who took it away from Raheem Anthony, and Denver will take it back up the floor.
And actually, Adelankra ends up with it because of the great effort by Brenchley and company.
Bruner dribbles right side. He'll hand it off to Adelankra, who will go up top through Toko Tynamo, and now to Brenchley. Jaxon was looking for a rolling Tynamo, instead Jaxon for 3. Got it! Jaxon Brenchley with 14.
The other thing I like about Denver in the first half, and we're seeing it now in the second, is great vision. So DeAndre Craig had great vision on a nice cut to Tynamo, and now you just saw Brenchley, after a pass, he looked around and he had the open look.
Ooh, what a take by Kendall Blue. on the up and under reverse layup with a good contest from Toko Tainamo, and the sophomore lays it in, just his second made bucket, and snaps a quick burst out of halftime by Denver. First points of the half for St. Thomas. Jaxon Brenchley a little shallow on the layup chance. Here comes Parker Bjorklund. Euro step into the lane, and he's swatted by an actual Euro. Pedro Lopez San Vicente with the block. Brenchley transition, layup for two.
What a great series of plays for the Denver Pioneers in defense, and then it turned into a transition bucket.
It is not often that you are going to see Parker Bjorklund play this many minutes and be scoreless, and Pedro Lopez San Vicente is the one who kept it that way, as Bjorklund now will get that first bucket. They've been trying to get him going, and Parker Bjorklund, the uber-talented grad student, is onto the score sheet. He has not taken a ton of shots. He does have 6, now 7 shots from the floor. That's his first make. It is a team high in field goals attempted, and Jaxon Brenchley just continues to cook. He's got 16 now.
They're not stopping him getting to the rack, and he's converting shots. And again, he did it from the outside, now he's inside.
And a turnover by St. Thomas, a back-cutting Bjorklund kicked it out of bounds, was looking to get behind Pedro Lopez San Vicente, but the pass I think might have been screened a little bit. Didn't see it coming from Drake Dobbs, and a turnover by St. Thomas. And Mary Kay, we talked about how little this team turns the ball over. That's number 6 today for St. Thomas.
They average 9 per outing, and Denver just doing a really good job. Number 1, frustrating Bjorklund, but number 2, also taking it upon themselves to make other players make mistakes. Coach, by the way, Tower has had enough, and he has put Parker Bjorklund on the bench, and Ben Now is in for him.
Missed by Lopez San Vicente, but an offensive rebound tapped out by Toko Tainamo. Here goes Pedro on the drive, and he got fouled. And with 15:57 to go, we will step aside for immediate timeout. Really good start to the second half for Denver, and our score, the Pioneers adding on to a 13-point halftime lead with an advantage that now sits at 18. 15:57 to go in regulation. It's Denver 54, St. Thomas 36 on 104.3 The Fan HD3.
Fans, it's time for the Glory Italian Restaurant Stash Can. Have you ever wondered what you would look like with a stash?
Sharply from the field, 54% overall, but more importantly, already in the first 4 minutes, they're 4 of 7, holding the Tommies to just 2 of 6. And I just can't say it enough how much Parker Bjorklund has been frustrated and is not in the contest right now.
Tommy Bruner collects the inbound. Tommy to the rack, the bucket's good, and the foul call goes against Ajani Lee. It is a 20-point Denver lead, and the nation's leading scorer is headed to the free throw line and trying to make it 21.
That was a great bucket with just enough spin on it that it hung on the back of the rim and gets the home court roll for Tommy Bruner.
TB's free throw is good, so Bruner is coming up on double figures. He's got 9 now.
You know, one of the great stats that Nico Blankenship, our Director of Athletic Communications, came up with is between December 31st and January 6th, Bruner, of his 92 points he scored in the second half, or of his 92 points, 68 were scored in the second half. He is such a second half player that, you know, teams think, God, you know, we kept Bruner down. But you know what, he not only had 30 points in the overtime game, but he also had 7 assists. So you look at, he accounted for 44 points of the 80 that Denver had that game. So, you know, he does other things, and that's what's amazing about him, is he's averaging 4.6 assists per game, leads the team in steals as well.
Tommy has 6 games this year with 7 assists or more, as the front end of the free throws is good, back end is not, but St. Thomas with the offensive rebound, and the Tommies will go to work trailing this by 20 at 57-37, and another foul will go against Denver as Tyson Garf was caught behind the play, and he fouled Kendall Blue.
Blue,
put Blue at the line.
you know, Blue's been fun to watch because he just, you know, he's another one who, he may not have the hops of maybe like a Johnny Lee, but his ability to get to the rim and get around guys that Denver hasn't had a chance to seal the baseline at all against him. He's kind of had his way in getting in there.
Free throw up and good from Johnny Lee.
You know, Pedro San Vicente comes out for Denver, and you know, he doesn't get very many blocks, but that was a monster block for his 9th on the season. That really, I think that was another tempo change for Denver, and also another confidence builder defensively.
One thing about Pedro on a day like today, he's played 11 minutes. You know, he hasn't poured in a ton of points, but he's made one of the 2 shots that he's taken. He's also got 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, and that block. So he's doing a lot on the floor for this Denver team today. 57-39 as a foul call will go here against Johnny Lee, and hopefully he's all right. He bore the brunt of a lot of that force from Tyson Garf, and Lee kind of went down in a heap immediately.
Denver working the perimeter, and it was almost that exchange, and it was a switch that happened by Lee on Garf getting the ball from Dynamo.
That's 4 fouls now on Johnny Lee, who only has 2 points. It feels like we've said his name so much more often than just 2 points today. He does have 5 rebounds. He's played a really, really good 10 minutes aside from the foul trouble, but that's number 4 on him.
And you just said 10 minutes. I mean, that's a lot of action in 10 minutes for number 13 Johnny Lee. And he'll stay in the game.
Get the floor cleaned up, and Tyson Garf will inbound from right in front of us.
Actually, no, he takes a seat because, yeah, he just picked up that 4th, so he's on the bench. But, boy, he has wreaked havoc in those short 10 minutes.
Carter Bjerke is back in as DeAndre Craig on the receiving end of the pass for Denver will go to work running the offense and immediately turning it over. Taken away by Ben Now, who feeds it to a nice look down low for Brooks Allen, and all of a sudden this St. Thomas team starting to feel it. Denver led by 21, that lead is down to 16.
Well, as much as they're known for the green light behind the arc, they just haven't had a lot of success there today, so they're doing it a different way, and they're finding a way to get to the rim.
Kick out 3, Brenchley, got it! Jaxon Brenchley matches a career high. He's got 21, and Denver's lead back to 19.
He has been on a mission, so to speak. He comes from Utah. He comes in, and with his ability to focus, he has set the tone early on the offensive side for Denver. And you know, he had Pedro setting it on the defense. He's been setting it on the offense, and he has been terrific all day today.
You know what, Mary Kay, I'm going to make a prediction. We're not really in the business of making predictions during games, but it feels like today is the day that Tommy breaks his career high in assists as Tyson Garf for 3. Yes! 22-point lead for Denver as Tyson Garf buries it. And it's 63-41 Pioneers.
And Dynamo takes a seat. That brings in Carr, but not before another triple. That's number 8 for the Pioneers.
And that St. Thomas bench, there is not a lot of energy for the guys in purple and gray today as Denver answers that 5-0 run with a 6-0 run of its own, and a great offensive rebound by Brooks Allen. Right place at the right time off the missed 3 by Bjerke, and Allen lays it in.
Yeah, and Allen's another one. You know, he was on the shot chart as somebody who likes the 3 ball, but he's done the damage on the interior.
Jaxon Brenchley, a career high 21 as he brings it across the line. DeAndre Craig will find Tommy Bruner. Tommy with 5 assists, his career high is 9, and off the window, he scores it, and he's headed to the line. This Denver team cannot be stopped in the second half. DU is 8 of 11 from the floor since the break. And it's a 22-point lead with Tommy headed to the strike.
And who hits the deck once again is Tommy Bruner. And who makes the bucket as he's going down is Tommy Bruner, looking for the traditional 3. In speaking with Coach Wilbrin, you know, he said, how is he handling this? You know, I mean, he's been the leading scorer in the nation for weeks now. And he said, you know, the easy answer is as best as he can. But the bigger answer to that is, he said, every time he goes down the lane, he's getting nailed. I mean, he is getting knocked down, and he's number 1 on the shot charts, or on the scouting reports. And so he's always got a target. But you look at his demeanor, it never changes.
And a nice dump off feed for an easy dunk from Isaiah Carr. Assist number 7 today for Bruner, who is coming up on his season high of 8 and his career high of 9. Here's Kendall Blue trying to shake by some Pioneers. Kicks it out, driven into the lane by Ryan Dufald, who will come near side wing from the radio perspective to Parker Bjorklund. And Ben now is fouled on the side. No, stepped on the sideline, and a turnover by St. Thomas, the 7th of the game. And, you know, Mary Kay, we talked about how Denver's done a good job shaking it loose. The Pioneers have only turned it over 5 times today.
No, they've been spectacular. And on the season for the Pioneers, they only average 10 turnovers a game, so they are well under that. And then they average of almost 14 assists. So they are doing an excellent job. And in the assist category, well, when you got Brenchley with 7, Bruner with 7, they got 16. They're sharing the basketball.
And Tommy is just breaking this thing open right now as he takes it to the rack, and Denver is blowing the doors off. A 27-point lead. Handed off to Bjerke, right side of the lane. Trying to back down Isaiah Carr, and a nice turnaround hook shot by Carter Bjerke, the 6'9", 250 redshirt freshman from Plymouth, Minnesota. Not a whole lot you can do to stop a player like that on a take like that.
No, and he posted up with his back to the basket, and he really worked Carr and to get that those points in easy off the square.
Jaxon Brenchley lost it for a moment, picks up his dribble, pinned against the sideline, and he'll call timeout. And Denver will talk things over. 13 on the shot clock, 11:55 on the game clock when we return. The Denver Pioneers, a 13-point halftime lead, has nearly doubled. A 12-point advantage since halftime in our score. It's all DU right now. Pioneers 70, St. Thomas 45 on ESPN Denver 1600.
9-4, and then they've already jumped it up. They've jumped it up 15 to 5, so they've just done an incredible job to take it. And that's something that Coach Wilburn's been looking for too, is once you got a team on the ropes, keep pushing.
Yes.
Keep pushing. Do not let up. So they got to keep the pedal to the metal here.
Tommy trapped against half court, able to get out of it. He finds Tyson Garp. Great take in the toilet bowl flush. It's good for 2, and the lead is back to 27. 72-45. Drake Dobbs on the right side for St. Thomas. Looking to cross over and go baseline. He'll penetrate and then go the entire length or cross width of the floor and kick it up top. Here is Raheem Anthony for 3, and that's good.
Raheem Anthony, left-handed three-point attempt and nothing but net. He was left all alone. It was a great ball screen for him, and he was able to can it.
That was his first 3 attempt of the day. Anthony, a 46% 3 shooter, and Tommy Bruner right back to work. He's got 16. It is 28 straight games in double figures for Tommy.
And it doesn't matter if he's going left or right. He's done a lot of work on that left side. That one came on the left baseline.
10:55 to go. Denver 74, St. Thomas 48. And now 50 after Bjorklund's fadeaway jumper is true. But Parker Bjorklund has been held to 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting. A guy who came into the day today leading this team with 14 points per game.
He's only played 17 minutes today.
Jaxon Brenchley working against Raheem Anthony. Brenchley, a career high 21. He's got 7 assists and 5 rebounds. So something to keep in mind there as well.
He had 11 points in the first half. He's already got 10 here.
Tommy Bruner turns it over there and then commits the foul on Bjorklund. Tommy should have been called for a backcourt violation there. He stepped across half court, and there was an official right on top of that who didn't see it. Might get it actually. We started the replay just before, or just after that, and then Tommy trying to knock the pass away commits the foul, and a hard one at that on Parker Bjorklund. But with 10:19 remaining, the true media timeout arrives, and we'll keep it here. 74-50, and Mary Kay, I think you hit the point a moment. He has 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. This team
It's still possible, isn't it?
It is, and it is just across the board right now what everybody is doing as part of this group today.
You know, Dynamo has 9 rebounds, and let's give him a shout out. He passed the career century mark of over 1,000. I guess that's more than a century plus 0.
That is a millennium mark.
Millennium, that's right.
1,000 career points for Toko on the same week, essentially, as Tommy Bruner reached that mark in his Pioneers career. So big congratulations to those two guys.
You know, and when you go a little deeper in the numbers for Bruner in his 5-year college career, over 2,000 points. Denver's his third team. Came from Jacksonville, had some injury issues, but boy, he has found a home the last 2 years here in Denver. And Coach Wilbrun has done a tremendous job. You know, he's got such great experience. You know, he had assistant coaching at Stanford for 5 years. He graduated from Cal State Fullerton. He's got that background, and he's brought that mentality here. And to have somebody like Tommy Bruner, he's embraced it, but also been able to coach him. And and when Bruner's not on the court, he's building schools and school playgrounds with his foundation.
7-2 run right now for St. Thomas, chipping away at this lead. A 22-point advantage. Toko down low, and his shot is no good. And Dynamo a little slow to get into the play. Toko is limping. A layup is good, and Dynamo's going to have to come off the floor right now as St. Thomas has gotten this back to a 20-point game at 74-54. And this is exactly what we were talking about. I mean, yes, this is still obviously a comfortable lead, but if you have watched games between Denver and St. Thomas, there's nothing comfortable about playing the St. Thomas team. They are so good at just being able to stick to their identity, even when things aren't necessarily going well, and they have shaved 7 points off of that game-high 27-point Denver advantage.
Denver scoreless in almost its last 2 minutes of play, and to that point, that gives the Tommies opens the door right open for them.
Left side with it, Tyson Garf. Top of the key, pitches it back to Pedro Lopez San Vicente. Denver has not penetrated much as Pedro takes the three and cashes it in. Lopez San Vicente, that's a big bucket with a minute 45 scoreless stretch plus. I mean, that was actually over 2 minutes by the time the bucket went in. That's a big time three from Pedro.
Big, and also Denver, which averages 8.8 threes per game, they've got 10 now.
76-54. Here's Raheem Anthony, right side. Picked up by Brenchley, spins by, then blocked by Lopez San Vicente off the window. Here comes Brenchley. Jaxon kicks it back. Dre for three. Yes, sir!
DeAndre Craig steps into a three, and again the same result. He buries it for his third triple today. He's 50% from behind the arc.
DeAndre Craig in his first 4 college games had 3 double-digit efforts. He had only had 2 since then, and today he's got 11 now. And the Pioneers with a 25-point advantage as Lopez San Vicente goes into the corner. Adoankra for 3. That's a little strong. And the rebound for Ajani Lee, who continues to do really good work on the boards. He's got 7. Right side, a turnover there. Kendall Blue was trying to go behind his back, lost the basketball. Here's Jaxon Brenchley for 3, and that's off the back iron. A chance at an offensive rebound. And man, Isaiah Adoankra went down hard and thankfully immediately springs to his feet, especially because his mom is in the stands and you could hear everybody
Denise,
react.
Right? Is it Denise?
Denise.
Yeah.
And you could hear everybody react and say, pops right back up to make sure everybody knows he's all right. Thankfully, and we will head for a timeout. 7:50 to go in this one. Denver able to keep pressing the issue. A 25-point lead on a dominant Saturday afternoon. Back in a moment on ESPN Denver 1600. Could you hear it?
These are the tough ones. These are the tough ones.
Especially with a big lead.
Yeah, especially with the big lead. You know, your legs you start feeling it in your legs. You got adrenaline, there's no question. You know what's at stake here. But you're feeling it in your legs. You gotta power through the fatigue with more focus.
Pioneers will fall back defensively. 79-54 is the score. Denver a dominant day here this afternoon so far at Hamilton Gymnasium. As down the left side, Drake Dobbs is shut off by Pedro Lopez San Vicente and has to pitch it back up top. Anthony goes into the corner. Now a nice job converging on Ajani Lee, and then DeAndre Craig went to help up top, and Lee scores over the top of Pedro Lopez San Vicente. Ajani Lee's got 6 to go along with 7 rebounds, and it's 79-56 DU.
Full court pressure by the Tommies, but it kind of subsided here early and quick. for Denver.
Lopez San Vicente comes right, lobs a cross-court pass to Jaxon Brenchley. Brenchley working on a career-best day, falling down, bucket's good! Oh, they wave it off. A highlight reel basket for Jaxon Brenchley that is waved off as the foul came before the shot. Would have given Jaxon the coolest possible way to set your new career high in points. Instead, Denver will inbound.
I was trying to think if he was playing horse, that would be a tough doggone shot to recreate.
Man, oh man,
But he
that
was literally on his back.
a heck of a shot. Off the inbound, Tommy for three, and that's short. And the rebound for Ben now. 79-56, Denver leads it. Pioneers have led by 20 plus for the majority of this second half as a nice move by Raheem Anthony to create some space down low, but then his pass is picked off. Here goes DeAndre Craig to the rack, layup good, and the foul!
DeAndre Craig continues to impress at 6'1", 190. Did you see how high off the square he got to get this one in?
He had two guys closing on him, one of them being 6'9" Carter Bjerke and the other 6'4" Raheem Anthony. And not only that, but the speed to be able to get to that ball ahead of, I believe that was Ben now in pursuit of it. As the free throw is good, I mean, that is incredible.
And he didn't succumb to the pressure because he knew he could hear footsteps, and he got there first.
By the way, a foul a moment ago on a Johnny Lee was his fifth, so the day is done for Lee. And the Pioneers leading this now by 26, call it 23 after a three buried there by Kendall Blue. 6:25 to go, 82-59. Jaxon Brenchley trying to get it in. Man, that was a long 5 seconds. And Denver thankfully able to get it in. 82-59. 6:15 to go here in the second half. Pedro Lopez San Vicente hands it off to Isaiah Adoankra. Adoankra into the corner. Dre's got another three on the way. That one's well off the mark, and the rebound is down to Kendall Blue. Mary Kay, we talked before the game. I said the last time that Denver has held a Division I team to under 70 points was November 29th at Idaho. And it might not happen today as the layup is good there from the grad student guard Raheem Anthony, but another turnover here by the Pioneers. This is just such a better defensive effort. And focus from this Denver team as an air ball three out of bounds by Kendall Blue. They'll hear it from the crowd.
And it was ironic that because we were talking about that. You know, Denver's one of the tops in the country in scoring. You know, they rank right there in the top 25. But again, you want to be knowing just as much, if not more, for your defense. And Coach Wilbren has been singing the same tune since early November, that to win in this league, you've got to play defense. And that's when you came up with that number, that November was the last time that they had held a team under 70.
DeAndre Craig, risky pass knocked away from Tommy Bruner, but Craig recollects. Ryan Dufall was all over Bruner. 10 on the shot clock. Tommy's going to go to work one-on-one, crosses over Dufall, heads down the left side of the lane, now has his pocket picked, and here comes Anthony the other way, and Raheem Anthony, how is that not a travel? That's not anything?
Wow.
Pioneers will take it away, lobbed ahead and out of bounds. That is a sloppy 30 seconds or so of basketball on both sides. And a timeout on the floor as Denver will talk it over. Pedro Lopez San Vicente, I mean, here's a pickup dribble here.
Oh,
1, 2.
goodness.
Maybe he did get it off before that third step came down. Adoankra knocks it away. Lopez San Vicente saw Bruner out ahead of everybody. Tried to get it to Tommy, led him too much. That was out of bounds. And a timeout to talk this thing over. This lead is sort of ping pong, Mary Kay, from 20 to 27. But the thing for Denver that's been important is the Pioneers have not let these leads really grow, or let these runs really grow beyond about 5 or 6 points at a time for St. Thomas.
And their droughts have been shortened. You know, those, you know, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. That's about all you can afford against the Tommies. And if you had a chance to take a look at Coach Wilbren right at that timeout, he was not happy on those exchanges. Not happy on the carelessness or casualness of taking care of the basketball and turning it over, and then on the offensive side. Then on the defensive side, not coming up with the rebound and coverage underneath.
And a foul call here against Denver's DeAndre Craig out of the timeout. So St. Thomas turning up the aggressiveness here in the second half. The Tommies have turned it over 10 times this game. That's above their season average of 9.2, which is a top 10 mark in college basketball. Denver now with 9 turnovers.
And 17 assists. They've really shared the basketball well.
Dobbs down low, able to find Kendall Blue. The bucket is good and the foul. And the Tommies, again, a team that is going to stay on you even despite a deficit. And they have cut this thing under 20 points for the first time in a while now. And Blue is headed to the free throw line to try to put himself into double figures. He'd be the third Tommy to reach 10 points or more today.
Well, he was one of 3 who had double digits against Oral Roberts in that big-time win. You know, they were speaking to the Tommy side of the court. They were saying that that was the 4th biggest conference win on just 2 days ago, on Thursday at home against Oral Roberts. So you know that's an emotional win. You're coming off of that, and then you got a Denver team that's a win here away from really making some inroads, and they can do that with these 3 games at home in the standings.
Trapped against the sideline, lobs out of it. Adoankra will draw a crowd as well, and another turnover. Denver is not making good decisions right now, and St. Thomas is taking advantage. Kendall Blue pitches it back. A 3 on the way from Brooks Allen is good. This is what we warned you about this entire broadcast. This is a team that will not go away. And this deficit has gone from 27 to 15 now with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. DeAndre Craig gets around the pressure. Now out to Tommy Bruner, will slow it down. TB 16 points in this game. He'll go to work against Drake Dobbs.
He had 6 at the break.
Tommy, step back, kick. Craig with 2 on the shot clock for 3, and that's off the mark. Tyson Garf right there, put back layup is good. Denver was scoreless for about 2 minutes and 45 seconds before that, and now a shot that is no good, but a foul call on Jaxon Brenchley. And our final media timeout arrives, and that will put, actually, they're going to charge that to Tyson Garf.
Yeah, they said Garf got the foul.
That'll give Garf 4, so Tyson's going to come out of this game. Yeah, I guess that was Garf on coverage. I got the 2 Utah guys confused, and Tyson on his board. That'll send us to our final. But I'm telling you, there's just something about the way Johnny Tower gets the most out of his guys. Yeah. You never feel comfortable in a game against the Tommies.
Yeah, and it's evident in who is all stepping up, with Bjorklund having just 4 points today, being held well under his average, but they're getting contributions. Blue's got 12, 11. Anthony's been really dominant in many ways, and he's got a tray. And then you just go down the list. He's gotten, from his bench alone, he's gotten 15 points, so he's finding other guys who are filling those voids and actually contributing, keeping them at least, I would say, still within striking distance.
First free throw attempt good for Ryan Dufald, 71% free throw shooter, who knocks down his first one. St. Thomas is 11 of 16 at the line, now 12 of 17. Denver 10 of 12 at the stripe today. Second one rattles in, and this is a 15-point game once again. Denver's got to get on a roll and run away and hide in this one, because there is still time for the St. Thomas offense to come to work. Now, granted, that's not the hottest element of the St. Thomas team. They are a defense-first kind of group, 63.6 points per game. That's 14th best in college basketball, but you just don't want to let a team hang around who can be so deadly as St. Thomas can be.
This is where Denver's got to value the basketball.
Tommy Bruner fouled down low, and they're going to have to separate Tommy Bruner and Ben now as they got tied up, and immediately the officials rush in to help out there.
Bruner, right before the block check foul, or block check circle, he did just a bull into Ben now, and now was moving, now picks up the foul.
We're going to send these 2 teams to the benches and look this over. Ben now, to be fair, I mean, I think with the head of steam that Tommy was coming in, Ben now, I think, realized we're going to the floor. We might as well try to protect ourselves. He sort of wrapped Tommy up in that way. I don't think there was any sort of malicious intent there on Ben now's part. Not sure if they're looking at something in the contact with Tommy either.
which they might, and I called it block check, I mean the block charge circle. You know, Tommy was kind of, with his momentum, was already leaning. So you look at, was it flagrant that he literally leaned in, or was he just losing his balance getting to the rim?
So, an official's review, which is brought to you by the Bird Simpson Law Firm, good lawyers changing lives. If you're tuned in on the Summit League Network, you get a look at Johnny Tower and Jeff Wilburn and their teams. Looks like a pretty quick look at the replay review, and they will just call this a 1-and-1 for Tommy Bruner. So a common foul, as Ben now talks things over with one of our officials in this matchup here today. Our officials today, Brian McAnally, Brett Wegenke, and Greg Langsdorff. Here's another look at the contact if you're watching on the Summit League Network as Tommy goes in and just got kind of wrapped up. I don't see any harm nor foul.
Like flagrant. And I think Ben now didn't want to hit the deck hard, so he held on to it for almost like an impact, lessen the impact.
I think it's exactly what it was, and I think, you know, giving credit to Ben now, and granted, we're watching this in slow-mo as Tommy knocks down the front end of the 1-on-1, but I think his thought was, hey, let's just try to protect both of us. So he wraps up Tommy, so they go down kind of in more of a heap rather than, you know, the risk of the back of somebody's head hitting the floor, those types of things, and Tommy will knock down both. So Tommy Bruner coming up on 20. I mean, Tommy at halftime had 6 points, as Mary Kay mentioned a little while ago, and now he's got 18. The nation's leading scorer, 25.5 per game is...
You know, he's been to the free throw line almost 225 times. I mean, it is a lot of free throws, and he just steps in so coolly. And it doesn't have to think much, and that's what you want to do. You want it to be automatic. You don't have to really think about it. Doesn't take a lot of time when he's at the line, and he's still one of the tops in free throw shooting, certainly for Denver.
Foul call against DeAndre Craig, and doesn't result in any points as St. Thomas misses the 1-and-1. Jaxon Brenchley, nice lob down low to Pedro Lopez San Vicente.
Denver's going to rely a lot on Pedro because I don't think Dynamo is going to come back in. You know,
I think you're right.
He left with that ankle pretty wobbly. He's one away from a double-double. But Pedro is being called upon, and he's going to need to step up and play some tough D.
Jaxon Brenchley, by the way, is 1 assist away from a double-double right now. 2:50 to go. Off the nice layup down low by Anthony a moment ago. Denver back on the attack with a 17-point lead. 88-71, 2:45 remaining. Brenchley stuck on his career high of 21 points. He had a circus bucket a moment ago that was waved off as Bruner, trying to find Brenchley in the corner, had it knocked out of bounds. But how about this? I mean, Jaxon Brenchley, 8 assists, which I believe is a career high for him, and it is. Tommy Bruner, 7 assists. He is 2 shy of his career high.
And that's the lion's share.
Off the inbound, Pedro for 3. Too strong off the back iron, and the rebound for Ben now.
Lopez San Vicente has 1 assist, and DeAndre Craig has the other, so that's it in assists.
Oh, man, Jaxon Brenchley just swatted that ball out of the hands of Brooks Allen. He'll be called for a foul. Nearly a steal there for Brenchley, but the foul call will put him with... Actually, that's Jackson's first foul of the day. Thought he had 1 or 2. That is Brenchley's first foul. On the replay, he's frustrated. The foul call might have been on the left arm. He had some contact with the left arm there of Brooks Allen, or with the left side of Brooks Allen, I should say.
Brooks Allen, he almost looks like a clone of Parker Bjorklund. I mean, they're both long. Let's take a look at their numbers.
Yeah, really
6'7" for Allen, 6'6" for Bjorklund, both grad students. You wonder, they're they could be brothers. I mean, they're just the same build, and really same kind of production from both of them.
Yeah, Allen listed at 210 pounds, 200 pounds for Bjorklund. A turnover here, a risky pass to try to break the press. 3 ball on the way is too much there. A scramble for the board, and off the deck, Ryan Dufald scores. And St. Thomas continuing to fight. They have knifed this thing down from 27 to 13. And a timeout on the floor for the Pioneers. Over the pesky St. Thomas Tommies, who continue to fight here in the second half. Denver is having all kinds of trouble getting out of the press, and Tommy Bruner dribbles this across the floor, and then what? Gets called for a charge. Interesting.
And that was just over the midcourt line.
St. Thomas is going to get a, oh man, that is an awful call.
You know, you're able to do the arm bar. You can do that.
Can create some space. Drake Dobbs sold that very well, and now a layup off the glass and no good on a nice take by Raheem Anthony. And Denver will try to take it the other way as swiping at the ball. Tommy gets it across half court and finds Jaxon Brenchley, who is fouled, and that'll put Brenchley at the stripe. Man, that is a tough call on Tommy, especially given the fact that Tommy was about to lose that ball out of bounds anyway. It would have been a turnover as the reach-in foul you see there. Ben now is whistled for it. But either way, Brenchley will go to the free throw line in search of a career-high 22nd point.
Yeah, and Denver struggling against the pressure, but still really, you know, this 88 points, you look at what's, you talked about defense, you know, they call it the Department of Defense. I mean, that's exactly what the Tommies have been hanging their hat on and what they're known for. And they keep teams under 64 points. So the fact that Denver is blowing up to 90 is a big deal.
Congrats to Jaxon Brenchley, new career high for him. A three on the way is short from Brooks Allen. Denver had the rebound, lost it, but it was last touched by St. Thomas out of bounds. And with 1:38, Pioneers will have this possession upcoming. Jaxon Brenchley is 1 assist away from a double-double. He's also 2 rebounds away from a double-double. Again, unlikely to see that he might get to a triple-double, which Denver has never had in its D1 era, but man, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh.
As Tommy Bruner's got to get this thing across the stripe, and he will with 1 second to spare. And then throws it away. Tyson Garf, oh man, somehow saved it, flying into the scorer's table, and Pedro Lopez-San Vicente was on the other side of it. What an effort by Tyson Garf. And hopefully he's okay, as Tyson went hard into the table. And now a foul call that will put Brenchley at the line.
You know, Brenchley's got good size and good strength, so he's a good one to have the ball in his hands because he's able to create space and also take some hits. You know, he can protect the ball, and he's done a really good job under duress, really pretty much the last 12 minutes of this game. You know, you look at what the Tommies have done since the under 8, and they have outscored Denver since before that free throw, 21-9.
Wow.
You know, and that's, even though you look at the total numbers, they're both pretty even, it's just 29-9. That is a big, or 21-9 is a big deal for the Tommies to just show that relentless that they have on defense, the relentless they have on offense, and also resilience to stay in this ball game.
St. Thomas doing some really good work on the offensive glass here late. They've got 8 offensive rebounds now, adding up to 8 second chance points. Some young fans near us chanting for, they want Don Maguna to get into this game. We have not yet seen the sophomore from Dortmund, Germany, the International Basketball Academy of Munich. You know, I think if St. Thomas had gone away a little bit in the second half, we could have seen those reserves for Denver. But again, that Tommy's energy just continued through the middle stages of the second half and then really caught fire late. And you noted it was after the under 8-minute media timeout when St. Thomas really came alive, and they have cut this thing down. It was 72-45. And since then, St. Thomas on a 32-20 stretch. But Denver feeling pretty comfortable right now. A 15-point lead with 1:13 to go. St. Thomas's press has been very tricky for the Pioneers to break. Denver's got some time to work with here as Tommy Bruner will get it across half court and then wheels out of it from the sideline. Jaxon Brenchley gives it back to Tommy. Tommy will lob it across the floor to Isaiah Adewankra. Adewankra into the corner to Pedro Lopez San Vicente, and Pedro is fouled with 49.4 seconds left. Ben Now is fouled out of this game now, along with Johnny Lee. And, for the St. Thomas team, I will say the only thing that felt like was really going to put Denver behind the 8 ball today is the fact that the Pioneers were on the road on Thursday. These weekend series, and it's been so strange this year, and it's all due to the fact that Western Illinois bailed on the Summit League so late, that the travel partnerships were screwy. So this year, the Pioneers, the Tommies, everybody else, they've had these weird weekends where you're on the road for a Thursday game and home for a Saturday game or vice versa. St. Thomas was home and blasted Oral Roberts on Thursday, and you felt like, well, they've got the much easier task to come on the road now after a win, as the Pioneers off of that rebound will get it across half court, and Denver will be able to dribble out at least the next 20 seconds of this one. But for the Pioneers to respond to an overtime loss on the road and get a day like this from Jaxon Brenchley, from Tommy Bruner, Toko Tynamo with 10 and 9, Tyson Garf with double figures.
Craig off the bench.
Craig off a 14-point game for DeAndre Craig, a fantastic effort. A really impressive day for Denver, and a game this team badly needed to have.
And again, to start the 3-game home series with a win, and a win against a Tommy's team who's hot. They are hot in the Summit League right now after that big win over Oral Roberts, and sit 3rd in the conference. So it's big for Denver.
St. Thomas will dribble out the final few seconds of this one, and the Denver Pioneers have snapped the skid. Our final score in this one, Denver 94, St. Thomas 77. Pioneer postgame is coming up next with the head coach Jeff Wolford on ESPN Denver 1600. All right, Colin, I might have you dump some of this break and then add it into the next break. Jeff will come right over.
As they take off the North Dakota, tickets on sale now. Recap of today's game.